Welcome back to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Bottom of the first inning, still no score. And as I mentioned earlier, the starter for the AirHogs tonight will be Jason Jarvis. Jarvis on the season, a 5-1 record with Grand Prairie, 3.86 ERA as well. Played his college ball at Arizona State and a native of Concord, California. 26-year-old right-hander, last played for the Winnipeg Goldeyes earlier this year. His last start against Laredo, 5 1/3. 6 runs given up on 8 hits, and he got the win in that one. Got a lot of support from his offense, and we'll see if he gets the same here tonight. Here is the lineup he will face from the Lincoln Salt Dogs under manager Ken Oberkfell. Leading it off is Chad Mazingo playing in left field. Then batting second, Brandon Pinckney at second base. Batting third, John Gaston, the DH. Batting fourth will be Ian Gack, the first baseman. Then Kevin Howard playing at third base and batting fifth. Howard is back from the DL for Lincoln. Batting sixth, Brian Joint, the right fielder. And batting seventh, Mike Gilmartin at shortstop. Batting eighth, Matt Forgatch in center. And then Chris Anderson, the catcher, will bat ninth. Infield shift is on for Chad Mazingo, the former Grand Prairie AirHog. Played for the team last year. Jimmy Mojica just slightly to the right side of second base. So 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond for the AirHogs as ball 1 is delivered outside to Chad Mazingo. Now quickly here's the 1-0. Swung on and foul tipped into the backstop. It's a ball and a strike. Jason Jarvis doesn't take a lot of time between his pitches, especially when there's nobody on base. Left-handed batter here against a right-handed pitcher, and he's quickly with his windup on the 1-1. Swing and a miss. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Chad Mazingo. Mazingo last night went 0 for 4. Batting .308 this season for the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Faces a 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. That is called strike 3. DeFazio positioned himself a little bit to the outer part of the plate, and Jarvis picked a good spot there on the outer edge to ring up Mazingo for out number 1. Here's your defensive lineup for the Grand Prairie AirHogs. At first base, Jason Botts. At second base, Alex Nunez. At shortstop, Jimmy Mojica. At third base, Abel Nieves. In left field, Ride Rodriguez. In center field, Eric Baker. In right field, Frazier Hall. And the catcher, Vince DeFazio. Now another former AirHog, Brandon Pinckney, is next to bat. Ball 1 inside is delivered to him. Pinckney last night was at third base, but now moves to second with Kevin Howard replacing him at third. Howard just back from the disabled list for Lincoln. Strike 1 called to Brandon Pinckney. Last night, Pinckney scored the only run of the game for Lincoln on a pass ball. Went 1 for 4 last night with a double. Jams a pop-up over to second base, and Alex Nunez caught that one. It was actually more of a line drive, but Pinckney not very good contact on that pitch from Jason Jarvis, and it's quickly 2 down here in the first. Now the 3-hitter John Gaston is to the plate. Gaston the DH tonight, 0 for 4 last night. And again, another infield shift is on to the right side for the left-handed batter Gaston, as well as a slight shift for Eric Baker in center field, playing a little more to the right side and right center. And Jarvis delivers strike 1 on the outside corner of the plate to John Gaston. Quickly, here's the 0-1 pitch. Bounced on the ground through the big hole between short and third base, and Gaston puts it through the hole that the AirHogs infield gave him on that infield shift there. So he goes opposite field on the ground, and little ground ball into left field for a base hit with 2 outs. Now Jason Jarvis will face Ian Gack, the cleanup hitter. Gack playing at first base last night. Gack 2 for 3, bringing his batting average to .363 on the year. That's second best in the league. Only 28 points behind Casey Harther of Winnipeg, who holds the lead in the batting title race right now. Strike 1 called to Gack. Ian Gack last season came over to the Salt Dogs after starting out the year with Southern Maryland in the Atlantic League. Looks at a pitch low and outside, ball one. Jason Jarvis has one start against Lincoln this year. It was his final start as a Winnipeg Goldeye back on May 31st. He got the loss in that one. 6 innings pitched, 6 runs given up on 12 hits, 4 strikeouts and a walk. That one is popped up foul down the right side, and no one will have a play at that in the field. A ball and 2 strikes the count. Still no score. A man at first base with 2 outs for the Salt Dogs in the bottom of the first inning. Second game of this 4-game set. And Jason Jarvis delivers to Gack, and he did not check his swing there. He went around the plate, said home plate umpire Marty Bauer, and that's the second strikeout of the game to end the inning for Jason Jarvis. No runs, a hit, a man stranded for the Salt Dogs after 1 were scoreless here at Haymarket Park. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Back to Haymarket Park in Lincoln, Nebraska. The AirHogs and Salt Dogs are scoreless in the second of this 4-game set on a Thursday evening. Right now it is sunny. There are a few clouds in the area, and last I checked there was a small chance of rain due up for later tonight. So we'll see if that affects our gameplay here. Last night was a quick game, 2 hours and 20 minutes. We'll see if we have the same here with no score and now the second inning starting. Brian Myro drives the first pitch from Nick Green into right field for a base hit. Myro went 0 for 4 last night, so grabs his first base knock of the series with that one right there. Man on first and nobody out. Vince DeFazio will be the batter now. DeFazio in his first action with the AirHogs since his injury back on Monday of last week against the Kansas City T-Bones. Injured his right leg after a collision at home plate. He did appear in the All-Star game a couple of days ago in Winnipeg. Subbed in mid-game for Chris McMurray at the catcher spot, batting in the 9-hole. He looks at ball 1 low from Nick Green, and he actually was quite serviceable in the game. 1 for 2 with an RBI single as well as a run scored. The 1-0 pitch driven into left. Is it going to be fair? No. Just bounces foul down the left field line. And it's now a ball and a strike to Vince DeFazio, the 28-year-old catcher, former prospect of the Texas Rangers, played for Single A Myrtle Beach in 2012 before coming to Grand Prairie. Fazio this season with the AirHogs, batting with an average of .233. This is his 44th game started for the team. 2 home runs and 17 runs batted in. Upstairs, and it's a ball and a strike. Or excuse me, 2 balls and 1 strike the count now. Frazier Hall on deck for the AirHogs. DeFazio was never officially placed on the disabled list on the road trip after suffering his injury. He was just not used, and Brian Peterson got all of the starts in his absence. That's called strike 2 on the outside corner. Brian Peterson not in the lineup tonight or starting a catcher for the AirHogs. 3 throwing errors in the last couple of games for Peterson, so Eric Champion probably giving him a rest for this one. As DeFazio calls time. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. A man on first and nobody out. Top of the second inning, AirHogs looking to be the first on the board in this one. Lincoln was the first to score last night in the bottom of the second inning. The 2-2 is lined foul and out of play down the right side. Vince DeFazio was a late addition to the All-Star team for the South. But he's had a nice season so far with the AirHogs, and he slowly bounces this one. It's going to roll foul down the left side. Chris Anderson quickly trying to keep that one in fair territory, but not able to jump out from his crouch position behind the plate, and it's still 2-2 to DeFazio. Myro at first base, nobody out. Frazier Hall on deck, still 0-0 our score here at Haymarket Park. The second of a 4-game set. This is the final cross-division opponent that the AirHogs will face this year. After this series, it's all division rivals that they will face until the end of the season, which is on September 1st. The 2-2 pitch bounced on the ground, foul again down the third base line. And DeFazio fighting off some pitches from Nick Green here, who didn't deliver a single pitch off of the plate in the first inning. 3 strikeouts on just 11 pitches, and they were all strikes. Count here is 2 balls and 2 strikes against Vince DeFazio, righty versus righty. Nick Green looking in, now sets at the mound. And here comes the pitch. Just a little low and outside. And that'll jam the count at 3-2. AirHogs now at 30 wins, 30-37 on the year. They have won 9 of their last 13 road games, trying to continue the road success here against Lincoln. This next pitch driven deep into center field. It's high in the air, and it will be a playable ball there for Matt Forgatch in center field, and that will be the first out. Frazier Hall is the next batter. Hall, a rough night last night at the plate. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. All of them were swinging against both the starting pitcher last night for Lincoln, Justin Cooks, as well as the reliever, Jake Myers. Hall couldn't seem to find contact against either of those pitchers. Here's the first pitch from Green. It is low for ball 1. Frazier Hall likes to take the first pitch, he said to me before the game. Says he likes to know what the pitcher has before he tries to swing at anything. The 1-0 is taken again. This one's a little low and outside for ball 2. Rene Rodriguez on deck, a man on first, 1 out in the top of the second inning. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Now set at the letters is Green. First a move over to Myro leading off at first. He scampers back into the bag. Myro, no stolen bases for him this year. Not exactly known for his speed. 2-0 pitch is now upcoming. That is over the plate but low. And the count is 3 balls and no strikes now to Frazier Hall, the 26-year-old right fielder. He's also played at third base and first base this year. Takes strike 1 on the inside edge this time. He is listed on the roster as an infielder, but he does serve the AirHogs pretty well out there in right. 3-1 pitch on the way. This is driven deep into right center. I don't believe anybody's going to get to this one as it bounces just near the warning track. Being waved home now is Brian Myro. The throw to the plate is not in time. Myro steps onto home plate. No slide from him on the RBI double by Frazier Hall, and the AirHogs will be the first to score in this one. It is 1-0 after Frazier Hall's big double to right center field. Hall now on the season with RBI number 26 this year. And he's been a reliable source of offense on this road trip for the AirHogs. Last night wasn't a good indicator of what he has been worth to this team on the road in the last couple of weeks, as A bluff move over to second base moves Frazier Hall back to the bag before the first pitch to Rede Rodriguez, the next batter. Green will now deliver home to Rodriguez, and he will line that pitch foul over the seats on the field section here at Haymarket Park. That was landing into the concourse area. And that's strike one to Rede Rodriguez. Rodriguez was 0 for 3 last night as well. Only 3 base hits this season with the AirHogs in 8 games. Fouls off another pitch. It's no balls and 2 strikes. 1-0 is your score now. The AirHogs the first to cross the plate in this one. Right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Green now set on the mound. Runner at second base, 1 out. Here's the pitch. That is just a little outside on the breaking ball. Eric Baker on deck for the AirHogs. Rede Rodriguez, the 26-year-old native of Cuba. Looks at another fastball. It's a little low and outside at 89 miles per hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rodriguez, a former prospect of the St. Louis Cardinals minor league system, started his independent ball career in 2011. He jams this one into right center field. Shallow. Is anybody going to get there? No, it's a loop single for Rodriguez as Frazier Hall moves to third base on the play. And the right fielder, Brian Joint, not able to get there, nor was the second baseman, Brandon Pinckney. And as a result, Rede Rodriguez is at first with his 4th base hit as an AirHog this year. And now it's runners at the corners with 1 out. And the next batter is Eric Baker, the center fielder. Baker did not get the start last night. It was Madison Carter in center in the opener of this 4-game set. Baker on the season, .217 hitter with 20 runs batted in. Takes ball 1. Baker, 26-year-old rookie in his first year of professional baseball. Green now with the 1-0 pitch. It's also over the plate, but it's still low for ball 2. Nick Green, the native of Atlanta, Georgia, also played his college ball in the state as he moves to first. Played his college ball at Darton State College in Georgia. He now lives in Salt Lake City, Utah. A 29-year-old veteran on this Lincoln Salt Dogs roster. The 2-0 pitch is in there for called strike 1, nipping the out or inside edge of the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike to Eric Baker. Played his college ball at Rogers State in Oklahoma. 2-1 pitch on the outside corner this time, and it's in there for called strike 2. Runners at first and third, 1 out. The AirHogs lead 1-0 in the top of the second inning. Now Nick Green trying to work a little quickly here against Baker. The 2-2 is on the way. Popped high in the air on the right side. It's in foul territory, but it will not stay in the field of play. And just out of the reach of Ian Gack, the first baseman. Right-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. Nick Green on the mound is at 6'4", and Eric Baker at home plate just 5'10". Middle infielders for Lincoln are in double play depth with 1 out and runners at the corners. Now Green is set for the 2-2 pitch. Here it comes. That is on the ground to third. Howard to second. Pinckney to first. And they get the double play. Baker not able to beat out the throw from second. A 5-4-3 twin killing play there to end the top of the second inning. But the AirHogs on the board first with 1 run on 3 hits. 1 man left on base, I should say. And the AirHogs will take that lead to the bottom of the second. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back. It's 1-0 AirHogs here at Haymarket Park, bottom of the second inning. And leading it off is Kevin Howard, the third baseman. Howard in his first game back from the disabled list. And Howard was put on the DL by the Salt Dogs back on July 23rd. So seeing his first action since then, he had a problem with his hamstring. But he is a really nice hitter for this Salt Dogs lineup that, frankly, the Salt Dogs are thrilled to have him back. An infield shift is on for him as well. He drives it into right, and it's fair. It rolls into the right field corner. Frazier Hall chasing it, and Kevin Howard is going to have a double in his first game back. Howard with an extra base hit there in his first at-bat since being activated. And he puts himself in scoring position for Brian Joint, the right fielder. Brian Joint in last night's game went 1 for 4. He's batting .322 this year with Lincoln. Runner on second base, nobody out. Bounced on the ground to first base. Botts is going to take this one to the bag himself for the first out. That moves Howard to third on the play. So Brian Joint will head back to the dugout, and the next batter will be Mike Gilmartin. Gilmartin last night, no base hits for him, 0 for 3, 209 hitter for Lincoln. A runner at third base and 1 out. AirHogs have out-hit the Salt Dogs so far 4-2. They lead at 1-0. Jason Jarvis had a couple of strikeouts in the first inning to start out his outing, trying to look for his first victory of the year against the Lincoln. And that's a swing and a miss by Gilmartin. Jason Jarvis has won his last 4 starts for the AirHogs and has really emerged as their ace so far in this late going of the season. Jason Jarvis with 4 consecutive wins against Kansas City, Sioux Falls, Quebec, and Laredo. That's spanning all the way back to July 8th. So he's had quite the month of July, going 4-0 in 5 starts. This is popped in the air to left field. Reedy Rodriguez with the catch. Tagging is Kevin Martin. He's going home. And now the tag is not going to be applied as the throw was just a little bit to the right of DeFazio. He had to go to the other side of the plate and try to double back to the third base line to tag out Howard. And he doesn't have to slide for this one, as he will score and tie it up at 1 apiece here at Haymarket Park. Sacrifice fly from Mike Gilmartin. Salt Dogs didn't have an RBI in last night's game. The only run scored on a passed ball. But have their first RBI of the series now in the bottom of the second inning of this one. 2 outs and nobody on base for Matt Forgatch, the center fielder. And a peel over to third base. Jarvis checking over to see if Howard had left early there on the sacrifice fly, but no call for an out made by third base umpire Sean Hicks. And the first pitch to Matt Forgatch is inside for ball 1. Next one is also low, and it's 2-0 the count to Forgatch. Last night he was 0 for 2 with a walk. He's batting .255 with the Salt Dogs this year. The windup in the 2-0 pitch from Jarvis is in there this time on a fastball at 82. Strike 1. Chris Anderson on deck. Salt Dogs have tied it at 1 apiece here in the second inning. That is strike 2 called right down the middle. And an even count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jason Jarvis not taking his time here with nobody on base. Quickly starts his windup again, the 2-2. Driven up the middle, and it's a base hit. So Matt Forgatch with his first base knock of the series. 2 outs and nobody on base. But he puts himself on base there to extend the inning for Lincoln, and Chris Anderson, the 9-hitter, will be next to bat. No base hits for Chris Anderson either in last night's game. He was 0 for 3, and that moved his average down to 218 this year. Chris Anderson with 2 home runs and 19 RBIs with Lincoln as he takes strike 1. Anderson last season played in the Belgian First Division for the Namur Eagles. He drives this on the ground. That was actually lined to shortstop Jimmy Mojica, and he went to the ground to stab at it and made the catch to end the second inning. Run scorers on 2 hits by the Salt Dogs, and they tie things up at 1 apiece after 2 innings here at Haymarket Park. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back. It's 1-1 after 2 innings here at Haymarket Park between the Salt Dogs and the AirHogs. Jimmy Mojica will lead things off in the top of the 3rd inning for Grand Prairie. Mojica struck out swinging in the first as Nick Green struck out the side in the 1st inning with only 1 hit allowed in that first, but now our score is tied at 1 apiece after he gave up 3 hits in the last inning to allow 1 run. That is upstairs on the first pitch to Mojica. That is ball 1. Mojica last night 2 for 4 on runs scored and a run driven in. And he will take another pitch right down the middle at 74. That is called strike 1, evens the count at a ball and a strike. Alex Nunez and Abel Nieves will follow Mojica in the lineup as he swings and misses and loses his balance to the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes against Nick Green. Nick Green this year, 2-4, 5.20 ERA. First start against Grand Prairie, and that's a little too inside. Mojica dodging that one slightly, and it's 2-2 the count. Mojica, 30 years old, from Puerto Rico. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Green. 4th on the night, and the second one delivered to Mojica. That's out number 1. Alex Nunez will be the next to bat, left-handed batter this time. Nunez also struck out swinging in the first. Only 5'11" and a 33-year-old veteran from Venezuela. He takes a pitch low and outside from Green. It's ball 1. This is a bunt down the right side, and Nunez is going to try and beat out the play, but Pinckney is there to barehand it off the ground and deliver it to first in time to beat the speedy Nunez at first base. That's 2 down now, and a nice play by the former AirHog Brandon Pinckney. Barehanded play there, just beating Nunez by a half step. 2 up and 2 down for Nick Green. The next batter is Abel Nieves, who singled in the first. Right-handed batter and right-handed pitcher. Nieves looks at ball, one low. Unknown Nieves, 28 years old. Last season with Wichita, won the batting title with a .357 batting average. His average this year is now at .329. A home run and 28 runs batted in for him in this 2014 campaign. Bounces this one on the ground to shortstop. Gil Martin with the play, and he goes to first. For out number 3, a 1-2-3 inning for Nick Green in the third. And it keeps the count, or it keeps the score tied at 1 apiece here at Haymarket Park as we move to the bottom half. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back, bottom of the third inning. Listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball live on Ustream. I'm Andy Humphrey, and it's tied at 1, the score in the second of this 4-game set. The AirHogs looking to go 2-0 in this series and move to 5-6 against Lincoln. So far in 10 meetings, Lincoln has the edge with 6 wins against the AirHogs compared to Grand Prairie's 4. Chad Mazingo will look at strike 1 from Jason Jarvis. Mazingo struck out looking to lead off the first for Lincoln. Now leads off this third inning. That's another swing and a miss. He got to chase a changeup there from Jarvis, and it's quickly 0-2 the count against Mazingo. The former AirHog was with the team last year, left-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher, Jason Jarvis. On the ground and past Nieves into left field. And Mazingo's going to try and stretch this into a double. No, he will not. He turned very wide there at first base, but will stay there with a single to lead things off in the third for Lincoln. Now another former AirHog, Brandon Pinkney, to the bat. Pinkney lined out to the second baseman, Nunez, in the first inning of this one. He scored the only run of the game last night for Lincoln on a pass ball after grabbing a double in the second. Right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Jarvis now set on the mound. And here comes the first pitch. That's a fastball at 91, and it's on the outer edge for strike 1. Brandon Pinkney, 32 years old, on his third team this season. Started out in Grand Prairie, then went to Amarillo, and now has played 6 games with the Lincoln Salt Dogs. It's a little outside. It's a ball and a strike now. On deck is John Gaston for the Salt Dogs. Jarvis with the 1-1 pitch, just a little outside. And it's now 2-1. Pinkney batted .255 with the AirHogs in the first half of the season, was released by the team on June 16th. Right around first and 1 out and nobody out. Chad Mazingo has 21 stolen bases this year, but he won't go on that 2-1 pitch from Jarvis. It misses outside again. 3-1 the count to Pinkney. Pinkney at second base again, was the third baseman last night. That's a move to first on Mazingo. Mazingo has only been caught twice this year. So 21 stolen bases, 23 attempts. He shares the team lead in stolen bases with Matt Forgatch. That is popped foul down the right side. Nobody will have a play at that except for a fan in the stands. And it's now a full count to Brandon Pinckney. 4 base hits for each team now. They're tied at 1 as well in the runs column. Another move to first. Mozingo diving in on the play. Jason Jarvis in his 9th start of the season with Grand Prairie. He made 4 starts with Winnipeg in the early goings of this 2014 campaign and went 1-3 with the Gold Eyes. Bounce right back to the pitcher. Can't go to second because Mozingo was running on the play, and he will get the out at first base. Mozingo with a savvy move there at the midpoint between first and second, kept running, and Jarvis couldn't get the runner at second base because of Mozingo's head start, so he can only go to first to get Pinckney, and now a runner in scoring position with 1 out for John Gaston. Gaston singled in the first inning, but was stranded on first base. Last night went 0 for 4, moving his average to .284 this season. He's also spent some time on the DL. He missed the last series against Grand Prairie, which was back in early July on 4th of July weekend. So Jason Jarvis calling time, resetting himself behind the pitcher's mound now. Left-handed batter against right-handed pitcher. Another infield shift is on. Mojica is slightly holding on the base runner Mozingo at second, directly behind the second base bag, and on the edge of the outfield grass is Alex Nunez at second base. That's ball 1 upstairs to Gaston on the first one from Jarvis. Now the 0-1 or the 1-0 is on the way, and that's swung on and missed at 86 miles per hour on the fastball from Jason Jarvis. 1-1 the count with Ian Gack on deck for Lincoln. John Gaston played for Lincoln last year after coming from the Laredo Lemurs in the middle part of the season. Played his college ball at Arizona and facing off against an Arizona State Sun Devil on the mound in this one. That's outside, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Gaston now lives in Boise, Idaho. He is 27 years old. He's been as high as Double-A in affiliated ball in his career. The 2-1. This is foul into the screen, moving the count even again at 2-2. Gaston the DH as he was last night, batting in the 3-hole. And with runners in scoring position this season, Gaston's batting .350. 11 RBIs in these situations. He's got 17 total RBIs this year. 2-2 pitch hit high in the air to left. This will be a play for Rede Rodriguez. And it's an easy grab for out number 2. Staying at second base is Mozingo. Now 2 outs in the third. Next batter, Ian Gack. Struck out swinging in the first. That ended the first. Right-handed power hitter for Lincoln. Leads the team with 15 home runs and 46 RBIs. He's second in the league in home runs with 15. Also leads the league in slugging percentage at .679 on the year. Time called as Jason Jarvis ties his batting glove up just a little bit. Appeared to be tying his shoe, but he was readjusting the threads on his throwing glove, or catching glove, I should say. Now the first pitch is on the way to Ian Gack, upstairs on the fastball at 92 from Jason Jarvis, and it's ball 1. Jason Jarvis, 4 consecutive wins, looking for his 5th straight against Lincoln. So far, he is 0-1 against the Salt Dogs this year. Back on May 31st, when he was with the Gold Eyes, he got the loss at home, giving up 6 runs on 12 hits. That's strike 1 to Gack. And it's now a ball and a strike to count. Kevin Howard on deck, runner at second, 2 outs. The pitch hit high in the air on the right side. It's in foul territory, but Jason Botts might be able to play it, and he will not as it bounces a few rows behind the AirHogs dugout and now goes into the AirHogs dugout on the ricochet. One ball and 2 strikes now to Ian Gack, the first baseman. Runner at second base, 2 outs. Tie score at 1 apiece. Now set at the belt is Jarvis. Here's the pitch. Foul again. It's down the right side again. This one further away. Ian Gack was drafted by the Texas Rangers in 2003 in the 26th round. He's another veteran on this roster, 28 years old, lives in Bellevue, Washington. Righty versus righty in this matchup. And Jason Jarvis now with the 1-2 pitch. Again, it's foul. And off of the roof at Haymarket Park and bouncing into the stands. Lincoln now just a game over 500 at 34-33. They're in a tight race now in the Central Division. Only 5 games behind Gary South Shore for the division lead, and they're 2 games up of the Kansas City T-Bones as well in second place in the division. This is popped high in the infield. Jason Botts, another attempt at it. He steps a couple of feet outside the fair territory, and he will make the grab on the pop-up in foul territory to end the 3rd inning. No runs, score on 1 hit, a man stranded by the Salt Dogs, and we're still tied at 1 after 3 complete innings here at Haymarket Park. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Top of the 4th. It's tied at 1 in the second of this 4-game set. Taking a look at some other scores around the league in the American Association. Sioux City on top of Fargo Moorhead. 3-1 is the score in the bottom of the 2nd inning in Sioux City. Still no score between the Wichita Wingnuts and the St. Paul Saints. That game's in the bottom of the 1st. Sioux Falls hosting the Winnipeg Gold Eyes, and it's all Winnipeg so far. Bottom of the 2nd inning, and it's 6-0 Gold Eyes. Bottom of the 3rd in Gary South Shore. Gary with the lead over Kansas City 2-0. And then bottom of the 1st, just getting started in Laredo. Lemurs hosting the Amarillo Sox. Still no score there in the bottom of the 1st. Jason Botts swings and misses at strike 1 from Nick Green. Botts struck out swinging in the 1st. Big 3-run home run last night, which gave the AirHogs the 4-1 lead. And they never gave up the league lead last night after that big bomb. He pops up here to the 3rd baseman, Kevin Howard, on the 2nd pitch, and that's quickly the first out for Nick Green in the 4th. Now the next batter, Brian Myro, who singled in the second inning and scored the first run of our contest here tonight. Myro, left-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher, Nick Green. Here's the windup in the first pitch. That's taken just a little outside for ball one. Myro went 0 for 4 last night. So far with the AirHogs, he's batting .252 in 30 games. His third season with the team. He takes strike one on the outside corner. 2 home runs, 13 RBIs for the 37-year-old veteran. Former Los Angeles Dodger and San Diego Padre. Just a little outside, 2-1 the count. A total of 52 games played at the major league level for Myro. Now a player coach for this Grand Prairie AirHogs team. That's called strike two. He also has his sons with him on this road trip. He's got a couple of young boys, and he brings them on one road trip a year. Drives this one up the middle. Gilmartin off his glove. Tries to throw to first. It's not in time, and it's past the glove of Gack. Going to bounce off the wall, but Myro won't take another base. We'll see how this is ruled. This is actually going to be ruled an error. A throwing error to the shortstop, Gilmartin. And I'm not so sure if he would have gotten the throw over to first. They're actually going to give him the error on the fielding play. It did bounce off of his glove and knocked it into the ground and tried to throw to first in time. A one-hopper to Gack, and Gack couldn't handle it out of the dirt. So Myro at first base on the error by Gilmartin at shortstop. That'll bring up Vince DeFazio. DeFazio calls time before the first pitch from Nick Green. He flew out to center field in the second inning. Now runner on first and 1 out. Green sets and delivers. Just a little inside this time. And ball one to DeFazio. One of the representatives for the AirHogs in the American Association All-Star game on Tuesday night entered the game in the 6th inning as the catcher lines this foul down the third base line. The ball and a strike now to the 28-year-old catcher. Went 1 for 2 in the All-Star game with an RBI single as well as a run scored. That was his first game that he had played since his injury that he suffered in Kansas City a week and a half ago. Injured his leg after a collision at home plate with Kansas City catcher Brian Erie. Takes another pitch low and outside from Green. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Frazier Hall on deck. Brian Myro at first with 1 out. The 2-1 pitch driven into left, and it's a base hit. So DeFazio is 1 for 2 tonight and puts runners at first and second base. Still 1 out in this top of the 4th inning. Tie score at 1 apiece, but the AirHogs with another runner in scoring position for the guy that drove in the first run of this game, Frazier Hall. RBI double in the second, giving him 26 runs batted in on the season. He's a .275 hitter coming into this game. Last night was a rough night for him. 4 strikeouts to go 0 for 4. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Here is the opening delivery from Green, and it's in there for strike 1. Frazier Hall, 26 years old, came to Grand Prairie mid-season of 2013 from South Bend, which is the AA club in the Arizona Diamondbacks minor league system. 0-1 pitch is chopped foul and into the AirHogs dugout on the first base line. No balls and 2 strikes to Frazier Hall. He also spent a little bit of time on the disabled list as well. He was injured against the Lincoln Salt Dogs on July 4th. Injured his left knee rounding third base, and he ended up scoring, hopping on one leg the rest of the way. He jams up into the infield here. Kevin Howard is seeing if he has a play, slides and makes the catch. What a play there by Kevin Howard, and his hamstring seemed to be all right on that one. And he gets an out there against Frazier Hall in foul territory, sliding on the warning track just before the foul wall on the third base line. And that's a big out number 2 for Nick Green. It'll bring up Ride Rodriguez with runners at first and second base and 2 outs. Rodriguez singled in the second inning. First pitch from Green is on the outside corner for strike 1. Rodriguez now in his at-bats is 4 for 31. Came in with a 100 batting average in his time here in Grand Prairie. Since joining the team a couple of weeks ago, he looks at a pitch low from ball 1. He batted .317 in 47 games with the Brownsville Charros in the early part of this 2014 season. Charros in the United League, an independent ball. Bounce right up the middle, off of the glove of Green. Takes his time to pick it off the grass, and he will flip to first for the 3rd out. So no damage done to the Salt Dogs in that top of the 4th. No runs score on 1 hit by the AirHogs. Also an error by the Salt Dogs and 2 left on base by Grand Prairie. Bottom of the 4th inning we go, and it's still tied at 1 here at Haymarket Park. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Bottom of the 4th inning, still tied at 1, and we're waiting now to start this bottom of the 4th. A lucky fan in the stands for the Salt Dogs has just won a brand new used car. That was a 1984 car there, and she's now riding off in that one. As that one leaves the field of play, we can then start this bottom of the 4th inning with Kevin Howard up to the plate. Howard doubled and scored in the second. In his first at-bat back from the disabled list, was placed on the DL on July 23rd due to a hamstring issue, and now back with the Salt Dogs. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Howard with 3 home runs and 35 runs batted in this season. This one is high in the air on the right side. Jason Botts is over to field it in foul territory, and he makes the squeeze for out number 1. So 1 quick out for Jason Jarvis in the 4th. It'll bring up Brian Joint, the right fielder. Grounded out to first base on the first pitch from Jarvis in the 2nd. Brian Joint last night went 1 for 4. Pretty consistent hitter for the Salt Dogs, .322 on the season. 6 home runs, 37 runs batted in for Brian Joint, who last season played for El Paso before coming to Lincoln in the midway point of the 2013 American Association year. Quickly a ball and a strike against him. He lives in Knoxville, Iowa. Played his college ball at Oklahoma City University. Bounces this foul down the third base line. 2 balls and a strike to Brian Joint. The 29-year-old who has made it as high as Double-A ball in his career. Ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss on the next one. A breaking ball from Jarvis, and he earns strikeout number 3 on the night. 2 outs in the 4th. Mike Gilmartin will be the next batter. Gilmartin, a sacrifice fly to left field in the 2nd inning. That scored the Salt Dogs' first run of the game, and that's where our score stands now at 1 apiece here in the bottom of the 4th. Slight shift to the right side for Gilmartin, the left-handed batter for the AirHogs infield, and ball 1 is delivered low and outside from Jason Jarvis. Gilmartin batting in the 7 hole as the shortstop. Here's the next pitch. It's taken for strike 1 on the outside corner. Jason Jarvis now on the outing has surpassed 50 pitches. He is now up to 53. Now 54 after that one. Swing and a miss by Mike Gilmartin on a pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gilmartin, who started out this 2014 year with Bridgeport in the Atlantic League. He is 27 years old, lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Played his college ball at Wofford in South Carolina. That's low, and it evens the count at 2-2. 2 outs and nobody on base. Matt Forgatch on deck for the Salt Dogs. Here's the 2-2 from Jarvis. Hit high in the air. This will be playable for Jimmy Mojica, the shortstop, just on the edge of the outfield grass, and he makes the grab. 3 up and 3 down in the 4th for Jason Jarvis, and after 4 complete innings, it's still tied at 1 run apiece between the AirHogs and the Salt Dogs here in the Nebraska State Capitol, Lincoln. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. We're starting the 5th inning here in Lincoln, Nebraska at Haymarket Park. Second of this 4-game set, we're tied at 1 apiece. Eric Baker to lead it off for the AirHogs. So far, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded into a 5-4-3 double play in the 2nd inning. Nick Green back out there for the Salt Dogs on the mound, starting inning number 5. Nick Green in his last start went 5 2/3 against the Kansas City T-Bones in a no decision, gave up 7 runs on 11 hits. First pitch to Baker is taken for strike 1 on the outside edge of the zone. Baker this season with Grand Prairie, a .217 hitter, 20 runs batted in. First professional year for the 26-year-old rookie. Bounces or pops this one foul on a bunt. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. That one went straight into the foul screen. It's now no balls and 2 strikes. AirHogs have out-hit the Salt Dogs 5-4. Our score, however, is tied at 1 apiece. Salt Dogs with 1 error in this one. Each team had an error last night. This is in the air to center field. Forgatch was shifted in, now has to step back to make this catch, and he will do so for out number 1. Now the leadoff man, Jimmy Mojica, will bat. Mojica, a couple of strikeouts tonight, 0 for 2 so far. Last night went 2 for 4. Nick Green only giving up 1 run on 5 hits so far for the AirHogs. That is low for ball 1 to Mojica. Alex Nunez on deck for Grand Prairie as Green starts his windup again. The 1-0 is in there for called strike 1. Mojica turning in to try and sell the pitch inside. But it's now a ball and a strike. Now the 1-1 is on the way from Green. That is jammed to the middle of the infield, and it will sneak into center for a base hit. And Mojica on base for the first time tonight on that single. 1 out in the 5th inning, and now a runner at first base for Alex Nunez. Alex Nunez last night went 1 for 4 with a run scored. He's batting .362 in 36 games with the AirHogs. A really nice batting average for him. And a reliable source of offense since joining the team in mid-June. 1 out, a man on first. Green set from the stretch. The pitch is on the way. Low in the dirt. Anderson blocking it behind the plate. And it's ball 1. Nunez 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout in the first inning. Also grounded out to the second baseman, Brandon Pinckney. Tried to catch Pinckney off guard with a bunt. That was well placed down the right side of the infield, but just couldn't beat out the throw from veteran second baseman that he replaced on the AirHogs roster in mid-June. It's a ball and a strike now after that pitch hitting the outside edge of the zone from Nick Green. Green is now up to 72 pitches through 4 1/3 innings of work. Swing and a miss on a changeup. At 71 miles per hour from Nick Green. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Alex Nunez. On deck is Abel Nieves for the AirHogs. Still tied at 1, a man at first base, and only 1 out in the top of the 5th inning. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. A move to first, Mojica diving back in. Jimmy Mojica with 8 stolen bases this year. That leads the team. He's tied with the team lead, actually, with Alex Nunez. Mojica has been caught on the base pads 5 times. The 1-2, swing and a miss, a 90-mile-per-hour fastball on the upper end of the zone there from Nick Green, and he gets Alex Nunez to chase at it for out number 2. Now give Nick Green 5 strikeouts on the night, and he will now face Abel Nieves with 2 outs. Nieves 1 for 2 with a single in the first inning. Jimmy Mojica leading off at first, now gets back in on the pickoff move by Green. Madison Carter last night was picked off at first base by Justin Cooks. So Jimmy Mojica now going on this first pitch to Nieves, and it's swung on and popped foul down the right side. So hit and run not working for the AirHogs on that play. And it's strike 1 to Abel Nieves. Nieves, an RBI single in last night's game. He went 1 for 3. He also scored a run. Went 2 for 4 on Tuesday night in the American Association All-Star game. Scored a run in that one as well as the South All-Star team defeated the North 7-0. The 0-1 pitch, low in the dirt. Anderson blocking it behind the plate once again. 1 ball and 1 strike to Abel Nieves, the 28-year-old infielder. Right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Nick Green looking in, now set at the letters. 1-1 pitch is upcoming. Here it is. Check swing, but it's called strike 2 on the outside corner. And the breaking ball was able to find the zone there for Nick Green, and it's a ball and 2 strikes against Abel Nieves. Jason Botts on deck with 2 outs and a man on first base. Still tied at 1 between the AirHogs and the Salt Dogs. AirHogs trying to continue their road success. The 1-2 is on the way. Popped, or tipped foul, I should say, into the backstop. And Nieves staying alive at 1-2. AirHogs currently are 5-2 on this road trip. 3 consecutive road series before their next home game, which will be on Sunday, August 3rd against the Laredo Lemurs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch on the way from Green. Fastball low at 90 miles per hour, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jason Botts on deck. Mojica at first base. 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. Green with the 2-2 pitch, hit in the air, foul, and it's over the roof at Haymarket Park. AirHogs so far are 4-6 against the Lincoln Salt Dogs. They won last night with Trevor Harding getting a complete game, his second complete game of the season. And now the AirHogs have been involved in complete games for their last 2 contests. One of them, the first one, was in Laredo, and they were on the losing end of that one. Jeremy Strawn going the full distance for the Lemurs as the AirHogs lost 6-0 in that one. The AirHogs defeating the Salt Dogs 5-1 last night due to Trevor Hardin's 9 innings of work. The 3-2 pitch on the way. Runner was going on that one, and it's ball 4 upstairs, so it won't matter. It moves runners to first and second base as Nieves draws the walk. That'll bring up Jason Botts with runners at first and second base. Botts so far tonight 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-up to the third baseman. Jason Botts, a switch hitter, batting lefty against Nick Green, the right-handed starter for Lincoln. Botts leads the AirHogs this season with 9 home runs and 54 runs batted in. Green stepping off the pitching rubber, bluffing a pickoff move to second base where Mojica is leading off. 2 outs in the 5th and 2 men on base for the AirHogs. First pitch to Botts is taken right down the middle for strike 1. Jason Botts, a 3-run bomb last night to give the AirHogs a 3-run lead. Same situation here in this top of the 5th, with both teams at 1 run apiece. Nick Green now at the 0-1. Check swing, but it's called strike 2 on the outside corner. Jason Botts last season was in the Mexican League. Before that, he was in the Japanese League. He has also spent some time in the majors with the Texas Rangers between 2005 and 2008. No balls and 2 strikes. Nick Green set for the pitch, and here it is. Bounced on the ground to the right side. Charging in is Gack, the first baseman. An easy play for him. He'll go to the bag for out number 3. So no run score on 1 hit, 2 men left on base by the AirHogs, and we are still tied at 1 after 4.5 innings here at Haymarket Park. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. We're in the bottom of the fifth, and the AirHogs and Salt Dogs are tied at 1. Thank you for tuning into our broadcast live on Ustream. I'm Andy Humphrey. Jason Jarvis is on the mound for inning number 5 in his 9th start with the AirHogs, and looking for his 5th consecutive victory. So far hasn't beaten Lincoln this year in one start. First pitch to Matt Forgatch is on the ground to third, and Nieves with a routine throw over to first base. 1 pitch, 1 out for Jarvis in the 5th. So 1 quick out for Jarvis, and the next batter will be 9-hitter Chris Anderson, playing in the catcher spot for the Salt Dogs. Anderson lined out to the shortstop Mojica to end the 2nd. Right-handed batter against right-handed pitcher. The windup in the first delivery from Jarvis is right down the middle for strike 1. That one split home plate in half. At 82 miles per hour, the fastball from Jarvis. Now the next pitch is low for ball 1. Chris Anderson is 27 years old, plays college ball at San Diego State, now lives in San Diego as well. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Last season, he played overseas in Belgium. 2-1 pitch is popped high in the air. It's foul, and will go out of play on the right side, evening the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is the first man in the lineup for Lincoln, Chad Mazingo. Tied at 1, the AirHogs out hitting the Salt Dogs 6-4. That one's tipped in the screen by Anderson, and it's still 2-2. Jason Jarvis is up to 61 pitches now in this outing, as the next pitch is popped high in the air on the right side, shallow right field. Chasing it are 3 guys, the right fielder Hall, and then Jason Botts and Nunez from first and second base, but nobody will get there in foul territory. As it bounces foul and into the awning on the right side. 2 balls and 2 strikes still to Chris Anderson, the catcher. Jason Jarvis this season has had his longest outing be 8 innings. He's gone twice that long before. Popped foul again. He went 8 innings against Kansas City on July 8th, and he also went 8 against the Amarillo Sox on June 21st. So those are his longest outings of the year, as he's now through 4 1/3 in this one. This one's popped foul again by Anderson. 2 balls and 2 strikes still. Nobody on base, 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. A swing and a miss on a curveball there from Jason Jarvis. He earned strikeout number 4 on Chris Anderson for out number 2 in the 5th. Now Chad Mazingo, the former Grand Prairie AirHog, will be the next to bat. Mazingo last season for Grand Prairie batted .255 in 27 games with the AirHogs, 15 runs batted in. Swing and a miss on the first pitch, doing much better this year with his new team, the Lincoln Salt Dogs, .308 hitter with 4 home runs, 28 RBIs. Also 21 stolen bases for the Dogs in 2014. Low and outside on the next pitch, a ball and a strike to Mozingo. He's 1 for 2 tonight with a single in the 3rd inning. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. AirHogs not really shifting anymore for Chad Mazingo. Jimmy Mojica is slightly closer to the second base bag, but still on the left side of the diamond. And Alex Nunez about midway between first and second on the outfield grass. That is low and inside to Mazingo. 3-1 the count now with Brandon Pinkney on deck. 2 outs, nobody on base. And Jarvis with the quick 3-1 delivery. That is bounce foul over the AirHogs dugout on the first base line and bouncing into the seats. That fills the count at 3-2. This is on the ground on the 3-2 pitch to Alex Nunez. And the second baseman delivers it to first for out number 3. Another 1-2-3 inning for Jason Jarvis. He has sat down the last 9 Salt Dogs batters. And after 5 full innings here at Haymarket Park, we are still tied at 1. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back. We start the 6th inning here at Haymarket Park in Lincoln, Nebraska. AirHogs and Salt Dogs tied at 1 in the second of this 4-game set. Brian Myro leads off this 6th for Grand Prairie, facing off against Nick Green, the starter, back for another inning. Left-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher. We're tied at 1. Both teams scoring 1 run in the second inning of this game. We have not seen a run since then, as Nick Green winds up for the first pitch to Brian Myro. It's low for ball 1. Myro in this game is 1 for 2. He's reached both times. A single and a run scored in the second, and reaching first on an error by the shortstop in the 4th. That's taken for strike 1, and it's a ball and a strike to Myro, the 37-year-old player coach. 1-1 is on the way. A little bit low, but it's in there for called strike 2. From Nick Green, the right-handed starter. 1 ball and 2 strikes. After Myro will be Vince DeFazio and then Frazier Hall. That's loaded Myro that time. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Myro, the DH, as he has been for most of this road trip. He also spends time at first and in left field. So still pretty serviceable at 37 in the field there for the AirHogs. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. The pitch off the zone. Here's the payoff pitch from Green. That's called strike 3 on the outside corner, and sitting down on strikes is Myro. That is punch out number 6 for Nick Green. 1 out in the 6th. Next batter, Vince DeFazio. 1 for 2 tonight is DeFazio with a single in the 4th inning. Now stepping in against Nick Green once again, right-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. The windup in the first pitch is on the way. A little bit low on the curveball. It's ball 1. Vince DeFazio, 28 years old, and getting his first start for the AirHogs since Monday, July 21st. That is called strike 1 and even counted a ball and a strike. Brian Peterson has gotten the start for the AirHogs on most of this road trip, but not in the lineup tonight, as DeFazio lines this down the third base line, and it's fair, rolling into the corner. DeFazio takes 1 base looking for 2, and he will get 2 on this base hit to left. DeFazio cruising into second base on that double, and it's his 11th two-base hit of the season. Now a runner at second base with one out, and the AirHogs looking to bring in this runner that's in scoring position now, and the batter at the plate is a guy who has been reliable in doing so on this road trip, Frazier Hall. Hall in this game is 1 for 2, an RBI double in the second. Green steps off the rubber, almost making a move to second base on DeFazio, who's leading off pretty well. Mike Gilmartin just positioned a little bit behind DeFazio, ready for a pickoff move if Green desires to go over there. Now the first pitch to Hall is upstairs for ball one. Hall in his last at-bat popped up to the third baseman in foul territory. A great sliding catch by Kevin Howard on the warning track just near the foul wall on the third base line. Now a move over to second, and DeFazio stepping back in. Mike Gilmartin covering the bag. DeFazio, this year with Grand Prairie, has not stolen a base, or he has stolen a base this year, only one attempt. He's going to go to third on this pitch, a swing and a miss. The throw is not in time. And DeFazio just sliding in feet first in the nick of time before the tag by Kevin Howard, and that's his second stolen base of the year. Now a ball and a strike on Frazier Hall, and the infield shifts in for the Salt Dogs to the grass. AirHogs have out-hit the Salt Dogs 7-4. Our score is tied at 1, but the AirHogs have the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Here's the pitch, and it's a breaking ball low to make the count 2 balls and 1 strike to Frazier Hall. On deck is Rede Rodriguez. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Now set at the letters is Nick Green. The 2-1 is on the way. Swing and a miss on a changeup. And it's now an even count at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Frazier Hall. 26 runs batted in this year for Grand Prairie. And with runners in scoring position, Frazier Hall is batting .277. Already has 1 run driven in this game. We'll see if he can get the second RBI for the AirHogs on this 2-2 pitch. That is driven down the line, and it's fair at first. And DeFazio is going to score on that one. Hall trying to stretch it into a double, and he will do so. A couple of RBI doubles for Frazier Hall in this game, and he breaks our score at 2-1 in favor of the AirHogs. Frazier Hall now with 16 doubles this season. And that came in a big spot for Grand Prairie. They take the lead once again, 2-1. And it brings up Rede Rodriguez with a runner at second base. Rodriguez with the first pitch to him. He looks at it for ball 1 upstairs. He is 1 for 2 tonight. A single came in the second inning. Now has a chance to drive in a run here. Only 1 RBI with the AirHogs in 8 games. The 1-0. Hit high in the air to left. Going towards the foul wall is Mazingo. It will not be in play for him. Bouncing off of the concrete in foul territory on the concourse level at Haymarket Park. It's a ball and a strike to Rodriguez. Eric Baker is on deck for the AirHogs, who have just taken a 2-1 lead, our first run since the second inning. The 1-1 pitch to Rodriguez, jammed on the ground. It's past the first baseman into right field, a slow roller, and being waved home is Frazier Hall. No throw to home plate, and that's an RBI single for Rodriguez. That was a jammed ground ball down the first base line, but Ian Gack not positioned close enough to the foul line to make that diving stop, and Rodriguez drives in his second run as an AirHog this year. On that base hit to right field, it is now 3-1 AirHogs in the 6th, and it brings up Eric Baker. Baker tonight 0 for 2, Ground ball into a double play in the second inning, and then he flew out to center field in the fifth. Green ready for the first pitch. Here it is. It's a fastball low, and 1-0 the count now to Eric Baker. The AirHogs now with a 2-run lead, out hitting the Salt Dogs 9-4 in this one. One error committed by Lincoln in the game so far. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Eric Baker, driven into right center field, and it's a long way. No outfielder's going to get there. Bounces just near the warning track. Rodriguez going to third. He's going to stay there, and it's a double for Baker, putting runners at second and third base, and still only one out. And Nick Green in some trouble here for Lincoln, as he's going to get a visit from Lincoln Salt Dogs pitching coach Dan Reichert in his second year with the team. Nick Green in this outing is now up to 104 pitches. 70 of them have been strikes, but in some trouble here with a couple of runners in scoring position. Dan Reichert in his second year as the pitching coach for the Lincoln Salt Dogs, a first-round pick in 1997 of the Kansas City Royals, and he pitched 5 seasons in the major leagues. He's going to leave his starter out there, so Nick Green will be allowed to try and pitch himself out of this jam. Runners at second and third, and one out for the next batter, Jimmy Mojica, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Mojica a single in the fifth inning. Last night he was 2 for 4 with an RBI. Looking for another run driven in this at-bat. 3-1 is your score in favor of the AirHogs. Top of the sixth inning. The infield shifts into the grass once again for Lincoln as the first pitch comes to Jimmy Mojica. Just inside for ball 1. Mojica with runners in scoring position is batting .320. That's compared to his normal batting average of .303. 1-0 pitch is on the way. Swing and a miss. A big fastball from Green, drifting low and in at 88 miles per hour, and it's a ball and a strike to Jimmy Mojica, who has struck out twice tonight. Also struck out a couple of times on Sunday against the Laredo Lemurs as he steps out of the batter's box once again. The ball and a strike, runners at second and third, and only one out in the top of the sixth inning. The AirHogs have already crossed 2 across the plate here in this sixth and are looking for more as Mojica takes strike 2 down the middle on an 88-mile-per-hour fastball from Nick Green. Alex Nunez is on deck. Rodriguez at third, Baker at second. Green with the 1-2 pitch. It's tipped foul into the screen. And Mojica staying alive at a ball and 2 strikes. Mojica, 30 years old, and has played for 7 different teams in the American Association in his long career. He has spent most of his career in independent ball. The 1-2 pitch is on the way. That is lined straight to the second baseman, Pinckney, grabbing it for out number 2. He looked for a play at either bag, but the infielders were not covering to try and double up one of the base runners at second or third, and it will be out number 2. But a big out for Nick Green, as it now brings up Alex Nunez with 2 outs and runners at second and third. Nunez is 0 for 3 tonight with a couple of strikeouts. Time is called as Chris Anderson, the catcher, walks out to the pitcher's mound to talk with Nick Green. AirHogs have out-hit the Salt Dogs 10-4 and outscored them 3-1. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. First pitch from Nick Green. Driven on the ground to the second baseman Pinckney, bounces it in front of him, and he will go to first just in time to beat Nunez at the bag, and it's the third out. But 2-run score for the AirHogs on 4 hits. and they leave a couple of men on base. After 5.5 innings at Haymarket Park, the AirHogs now with a 3-1 lead. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back. Bottom of the 6th inning, 3-1. The AirHogs leading the Salt Dogs. Haymarket Park giving away another used car. That was a 1989 Ford Festiva that a lucky fan was driving away in tonight. Here on used car night at Haymarket Park in Lincoln, Nebraska. Leading off this bottom of the 2nd is Brandon Pinckney. Pinckney tonight against his former team is 0 for 2. Line out to 2nd and a ground out to the pitcher. That is strike 1 called from Jason Jarvis. Now in line for his 5th consecutive victory with a 3-1 lead. That's a check swing by Brandon Pinckney, I should say, on the 1-strike pitch. And now it's a ball and a strike. Quickly, the 1-1 from Jarvis. Popped foul down the right side. A ball and 2 strikes to the 32-year-old veteran Brandon Pinckney. John Gaston and Ian Gack will follow him in the lineup, the 2-3-4 part of the Lincoln batting order. Jarvis winds up and delivers. That is driven in fair territory this time, but it's high in the air for Frazier Hall, and he makes the grab to his left side for out number 1. So 1 down, and the next batter, John Gaston, the DH. 1 for 2 is he tonight. Single came in the 1st inning. Jason Jarvis in this outing has now gone 5 1/3 and has only given up 1 run on 4 hits. And just 76 pitches now. Infield shift on to the right side for Gaston, the left-handed hitter. That's ball 1 outside from Jarvis. Jason Jarvis has really emerged as the AirHogs ace since Aaron Wilkerson was sold to Short A Lowell in the Boston Red Sox minor league system. Wilkerson was leading the American Association in strikeouts on the year and had been one of the most consistent starters for the AirHogs. But now it's starting to be Jason Jarvis, a guy who came to the AirHogs midseason. As this is high in the air to left field, is it going to bounce fair? No. Just about a few yards outside the foul line. Ride Rodriguez was racing over into foul territory to see if he could grab it, but not able to do so. It's 2 balls and 1 strike to John Gaston. Now on the infield shift, Alex Nunez has gone a little deeper to shallow right field. But now coming in a little shallower this time, now on the edge of the grass on the infield diamond. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jason Jarvis now has the pitch he wants. Here's the 2-1. Bounce on the ground to second base. Nunez blocks it with his torso, goes to first, and he just beats Gaston at the bag for out number 2. So Alex Nunez knocking that ground ball down with his chest, but keeps his cool on that ground ball for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down for Jason Jarvis in the 6th, and the next batter he faces is Ian Gack. First baseman for the Salt Dogs is 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout. Second in the league in home runs and batting average. 15 home runs this year, a .363 batting clip. Just 28 points behind Casey Harther, who leads the league in batting average. That's chopped high to the third baseman, Nieves. And a throw to first for out number 3. 12 consecutive batters sat down by Jason Jarvis. Another 1-2-3 inning, and he keeps the score at 3-1 in favor of the AirHogs. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. We start the 7th inning here at Haymarket Park. New pitcher in there for Lincoln. It is left-handed reliever Connor Spink. Spink this season, an ERA of 2.16. That's the best mark on the team. 33 1/3 innings pitched in 22 games and a record of 4-1. He delivers strike 1 to Abel Nieves, who is 1 for 2 tonight with a single and a walk. Connor Spink played for Lincoln last year, played his college ball at Seattle University. He is a 26-year-old rookie. Bounces this one to second base, does Nieves, and that's an easy play for Brandon Pinkney for out number 1. Well, Nick Green now leaving the game after 6 innings. Gave up 3 runs on 10 hits, no walks, and 6 strikeouts for Green, the 29-year-old veteran. In line for the loss in this one, as Jason Botts stands in against the left-handed pitcher Connor Spink. Botts, a switch hitter, now batting on the right side. Here's the first pitch, driven right up the middle, off of the pitcher's mound and into center for a base hit. And Connor Spink trying to put his glove on that hard liner back to the mound, but not able to do so. And Botts with a base hit. He is now 1 for 4 tonight. That brings up Brian Myro, who is 1 for 3 in this game. A single and a run scored in the second inning. Also reached on an error. Runner at first base and 1 out. Lefty versus lefty. Connor Spink looks at first. Jason Botts leading off. Here's the pitch to Myro. That is called strike 1 on the low and outside corner. Myra last night went 1 for 4. He is 1 for 7 in this series. Or he went 0 for 4, I should say. Next pitch, low and outside again. And it's a ball and a strike. That one was blocked in the dirt by Anderson. 3 runs on 11 hits for the AirHogs. 1 run on 4 hits for the Salt Dogs. Also 1 error. Hit on the ground to third. Howard with the play to second, and now over to first is Pinckney to finish the double play, 5-4-3. And that's a quick inning in relief for Connor Spink. No runs, a hit, nobody left on base for the AirHogs. And they still keep a 2-run lead as we move to the bottom of the 7th here in Lincoln. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Bottom of the 7th inning, AirHogs leading 3-1 over the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Jason Jarvis has sat down the last 12 Salt Dogs batters, and starting his 7th inning of work in this one, looking for his 5th consecutive victory. Kevin Howard will be the first batter this bottom of the 7th. Howard is 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored in the second. Infield shift is on to the right side. Here's the first pitch. Taken for strike 1 from Jarvis. Kevin Howard in his first game back from the DL had a hamstring issue that kept him out for about a week and a half. And he swings and misses at the next pitch. It's no balls and 2 strikes. He'll be followed by Brian Joint and Mike Gilmartin. The 5, 6, 7 part of the lineup due up for Lincoln in the 7th. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Jarvis with the 0-2. That is lined foul down the left side. A screamer off of the wall on the suite level here at Haymarket Park. AirHogs have out-hit the Salt Dogs 11-4 and outscored them 3-1. Here's the pitch from Jarvis. Bounce on the ground to third base. It is fair. And Nieves with a long throw. And he just beats the runner, Kevin Howard, by about a half step. And Nieves had to go foul line to foul line on that throw. And it's the first out of the 7th inning. A nice play from Nieves, the all-star third baseman. And it'll bring up Brian Joint. Joint is 0 for 2 tonight. He struck out in his last at-bat in the 4th. That's now 13 straight batters retired by Jason Jarvis. Ball 1 outside, delivered to Joint. On deck is Mike Gilmartin. The quick delivery there. It's jammed up and in foul territory. Nobody will have a play at that as it rolls into the AirHogs dugout on the first base line. A ball and a strike now to Brian Joint, who chipped a little bit off of his bat there, and he will go to fetch a new one from his dugout on the third base line. A ball and a strike is the count. Brian Joint, the right-handed batter, against Jarvis, the right-handed pitcher. Jarvis now in this outing is up to 88 pitches. He has gone no longer than 8 innings so far this season. He has had a couple of 8-inning outings this year for the AirHogs. This one is going to be a base hit into right center field from Brian Joint. He breaks the Consecutive batter sat down streak by Jason Jarvis. That'll snap at 13, and that's the first base hit the Salt Dogs have had since the third inning. Next batter, Mike Gilmartin, the shortstop. Gilmartin 0 for 1 in this one. Sacrifice fly in the second inning. Also popped up to the shortstop. So he's got the only run batted in of this series so far for Lincoln. Lincoln scored 1 run last night on a passed ball. That is hit high in the air on the first pitch to left field, and it's going to go foul. No balls and 1 strike to Gilmartin with a runner on first base and 1 out. Jason Jarvis so far this year is 0-1 against Lincoln. His only start against him was on May 31st, and he was in a Winnipeg Goldeyes uniform. Outside on the next pitch, it's 1-1. Jarvis has really turned it around in the second part of this 2014 season. 4 consecutive victories now, and he's undefeated in the month of July. As the next pitch is a little bit inside, making the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Matt Forgatch, the center fielder, is on deck for Lincoln. A runner on first base, 1 out. Jarvis with the 2-1 pitch. Hit high in the air to right center. And who's going to call for it? Going all the way back to the warning track is Baker. He falls down, but he hangs on for the catch. And he appeared to lose his footing out there in right center, but Baker was in good position on the play, and he was able to make the grab from the ground. And that could have been a costly error, but Baker able to make the play out there in right center field, and it's 2 down with a runner still at first base. Next batter is Matt Forgatch. As it starts to get a little bit darker here, as more clouds start to move in over Haymarket Park here in Lincoln, Nebraska. There is a small chance of rain for tonight. So we'll see if we can get the rest of this game in. The game has gone pretty quickly. We haven't gotten to 2 hours of gameplay yet, and we're about to finish the bottom of the 7th, it appears. Matt Forgatch looks at strike 1. He is 1 for 2 with a single in the second. Jarvis another half-hearted move over to first base. Brian Joint stepping back in. Joint this season with only 1 stolen base in 3 attempts. Jarvis looks in again. He's now set at the belt. Here comes the pitch. Just a little low and inside this time to Matt Forgatch. It evens the count at 1-1. Forgatch this season with Lincoln is batting with an average of .255, 7 home runs, and 26 runs batted in. Another move to first. And Jarvis keeping Brian Joint honest at the bag. A ball and a strike, the count to Matt Forgatch, the right-handed batter. The 1-1 is on the way. A fastball just missing outside from Jason Jarvis at 85 miles per hour, and that moves the count to 2-1. On deck, Chris Anderson, the catcher. Runner at first base, 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the pitch from Jarvis, a little outside again. This fastball was at 91. 3 balls and 1 strike. The AirHogs a 2-run lead. They kept the Salt Dogs to 1 run in last night's game with Trevor Hardin going the distance for his 2nd complete game of the year. The 3-1 pitch is low for ball 4. That will be the first walk allowed by any pitcher in this game. And that will draw a meeting from Eric Champion, the AirHogs manager. Jeff Russell, the pitching coach, not on the road trip. So Champion out there to see if his starter is all right. Jarvis now up to 98 pitches. There is no real action in the bullpen. Nobody throwing any warm-up tosses for the AirHogs, but there are some guys getting up and stretching, so it's safe to say that some guys will be throwing pretty soon. Champion just checking out on his starter there, and he walks back to the dugout. Now the tying run is on base for the Salt Dogs. Runners at first and second, 2 outs, and the 9-hitter Chris Anderson is up to the bat now. That's the first walk we have seen tonight by any pitcher. Allowed to the center fielder Matt Forgatch. Anderson, the next batter, 0 for 2 tonight as he. A strikeout in the 5th inning. And now Jarvis is set for the first pitch. Here it is. And that hits the outside edge for called strike one. 91-mile-per-hour fastball from Jarvis. Joined at second, Forgatch at first. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. And Jarvis trying to get out of this small little jam here. He's been phenomenal in the last few innings. And here's the 0-1 to Anderson, outside this time, ball 1. Chris Anderson with runners in scoring position, batting .256. 14 RBIs in situations like this year with the Salt Dogs. Got a ball and a strike against him in the count. Jarvis now ready for the next pitch. Here it is. Bounced on the ground to second base. Nunez fields on 2 hops and an easy throw to first base for out number 3. So Jarvis escapes another jam, allowing no runs on 1 hit in that 7th and strands 2 men on base for the Salt Dogs. After 7 innings, it is still 3-1. Grand Prairie leading it in the second of this 4-game set on the road. You're listening to Grand Prairie AirHogs Baseball. Welcome back. We start the 8th inning here at Haymarket Park.